We want to make sure we don't...
No, don't want to get run over.
Not before a fishing trip.
There it is, home.
There it is. Nice.
Narrow River.
Beautiful spot. I love this spot.
Tell us about Narrow River. What's so nice about fly fishing Narrow River?
Narrow River is probably one of the best rivers, I think, in the state of Rhode Island, as far as bringing fish from the ocean, which is less than a half mile, you know, to the east, to areas like this. The other good reason that the Narrow River fishes so well is because it's a great place where the bait migrates in, all right? The spring of the year, we get all kinds of forms of bait that come back here. The stripers follow the bait and along with the shad, and it's peaceful. It's peaceful. Now, if we had a full tide, actually, you know that this channel runs right through, right up to Middlebridge for the boaters. When the tide is full, we can get up above here, and there's some spots and some holes where no boats ever see. We got an incoming tide. Usually on the incoming tide, I like to be a couple of hours in. And we're fishing flies that are subsurface because we want to get the flies down to where the stripers are, hopefully. So what we need to do is we need to get the fly out as far as we can right into that current seam. See it right here? If you can get it into that current or thereabouts a little bit further and just let the fly swing, because this line is going to bring it down nice and slow. And just as it gets to be about at a 45-degree angle, what I'm going to have you do is strip the fly in. See how I'm casting it into that little seam right there?
Right there,
And then I'm going to make the cast, and I'm going to let the fly start to descend and start to swing in with the current. Now, once I think it's at a depth, you probably got 5.5 to 6 feet of water right now with the first hour of the incoming. If we find one, we'll find them all.
All right, so gotta
find
one.
They call them schoolies. You send your kid to a one-kid classroom.
If he's homeschooled, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll find the homeschooled fish, right?
What we're using is we're using a fly called a Clouser minnow because it's got a little bit of lead on the eyes, lead eyes, to bring the fly down a bit. That way it'll sink that much more quickly. If we saw a fish busting up on the top, we would take that fly off and we would fish flies closer to the surface. And this fly represents, you know, all kinds of different baits. That's why it's a good all-purpose fly. You know, it'll represent like your sand eels. It'll represent your silver sides, and even in the fall of the year, if you tie them with a little bit more material, represent the peanut bunker. And it's a fly that'll catch not just stripers, but just about anything. You know, bluefish, albies. There's one right there.
All right, there you go. He beat me again. Every time he beats me. Man.
So we're using the exact same fly, Don. We're using everything the same. The only difference is I don't have a stripping basket, and you owe me a beer.
At least we know there are fish in here.
Yeah, this isn't a bad fish.
Nope.
We get into the summer. You know, you get bluefish in here. You know, you get bluefish, you get the stripers, and of course you get the hickory shad. And the hickory shad are a blast on the fly rod. So we know they're here. They've probably turned with the tide.
It's a nice little fish.
You want to get a closer look just in case?
I plan on seeing my own up close and personal.
I'll get rid of the little one so you can get the big one.
All I was catching was seaweed.
Depending upon where you are and depending upon the tide, what it's carrying in, you always want to check your fly. And what the habit that I get into is when I finish a retrieve, I bring the rod up just like this, Don, before I make my cast, and I kind of look to see if the fly has any grass on it or any seaweed and make sure it's swimming perfectly.
Got to move every once in a while, you get stuck.
Well, the other thing too that you want to do is if you're standing in one spot and you feel as though your fly has covered all the water that you're casting into, then what you want to do is either move 5 or 10 feet either to your left or to your right.
That spot's dead. It's officially dead and buried. How about fly fishing etiquette? How close can you be? Should you be away from another fly fisherman?
It depends on the area that you're fishing, you know. And there's two ways to look at fly fishing and fly casting etiquette. If you're in a boat and you're in a big expanse of water and you got guys waiting, I always make certain that I stay away from them the best that I possibly can. If you're waiting a place like this and you can see there's only a few of us here fishing, you know, you want to give yourself a good 50 to 100 yards in between anglers. However, if you were catching every fish and nobody else was, I'd be in your stripping basket.
You'd be right next to me, huh?
little bit smaller fish, but
Hey, in my case, beggars can't be choosy, so.
you do, Don.
Overdue.
Overdue.
Everybody in sight's already caught at least one.
Everyone was catching. Bob, the guy in the boat, even the osprey. Everybody but me.
Finally caught one. Myself. Here we go. I'm a keeper.
All right, let's get serious.
All right, here we go. No more laughing. Serious. Fish. Oh, see, I asked for help, not for kelp. Help!
It's that story. You should have been here yesterday.
Right. Yesterday is when all the big fish
Oh,
were in.
man, we smoked them.
Ooh, that's what a fish feels like. Bob was nice enough to let me feel what it likes to bring a fish in.
Yeah, but you got the right form. It looks great. Tip of the rod up, and then that's it. Now take your left. There you go, just like that. You can put the rod under your arm now.
Under the arm.
Look at that, like a trained professional.
All right.
Just lip them like you would do any other bass. That's it.
That's what it feels like. Okay, come back another day.
I didn't have a lot of fishing success, but I sure enjoyed another beautiful night on Narrow River.